When I use an open source free sound effect, there are various reasons. I think for me, it's the fact that I can make a sound effect for my game, and it would be good or the same or better. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it would be worse than a pre-made one. Well, one of the reasons I think is that if it's an open source free sound effect, it's going to be used by other people. And so there's this like nightmare scenario in my head. And I've seen this too in like videos. I've seen videos where people will call out games. They're like, yeah, this developer just, it's like an asset flip. They just use the same assets as this other game. And it's like really easy to spot and obvious. And it just kind of like feels like that situation sucks and is sad. It's like they put in all this work, and just because they reused a singular asset, you're like getting on their case. What's wrong with other people using the same assets if it's open source? I mean, it's like when I make my game, I see those people are just dumb lol. I don't know if it's that black and white. Like, I don't know, a game is almost like a form of self-expression, maybe? They're complaining about a game using open source content, but that's literally what open source content is for. I guess that's a fair point. But like, let's take it to like the extreme, right? Let's say you make your game and every single asset in the game is an open source asset. Like you created none of the assets yourself. I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, what is the point? You know what I mean? Is it even really your game at that point? Complaining about an RPG Maker game being made in RPG Maker? I guess so. But I think like, what is the element of the game that you are expressing yourself with? Is it like the story? Is it the content? Is it the assets? Yeah, it is the final product. Is the sum of the parts put together in your vision? I guess that's a fair point. Yeah, I don't know. I just think there is more value in creating something yourself, even and especially if it's worse than something that already exists. I think there is great value in that. And that's why I do it. I mean, that's why I make my own VTuber models instead of like commissioning one. As easy as it would be to just commission a VTuber model that's like 1,000,000 times better than mine. Like the reason I've made so many, the reason I haven't, you know, quit up until this point, through all the hardships, through all the things that have happened, is, you know, you have a very personal, or metaphorical you, like have a very personal connection to the, like, brand, I guess, or to myself. Like, don't misunderstand, I'm not criticizing making it yourself. Yeah, I know, I gotcha. No, I understand everybody has a different, mythos? Like, everybody has a different, like, reason for doing their stuff, or, like, goal. And so, like, for me, I value the personality, I guess, that it adds. Just saying that there's nothing wrong with taking other avenues, especially for minor stuff. I mean, I think there's nothing wrong with it. I just don't think that I would appreciate my own stuff as much as if I suffered, basically. It's almost like wabi-sabi kind of situation, you know, enjoying the mistakes in it. An example I'll give is a game we made in university. I won't tell the name. And there were these sound effects of like the player. And so they were like, it was a game where you like moved around and there was movement and stuff. And so when you jumped, it would go like, huh, and like different stuff like that. And the homie made all the sound effects for the character, like jumping and like, huh, and like, huh, and like, wah, for like the dying sound. And it was hilarious. I loved it. Like, it was epic. And so like in the trailer, I was in charge of making the trailer. I mean, amongst other things, I was also making the trailer, right? Yeah, I used those sound effects in it like prominently, like in funny locations. Like, it was actually a really good and funny trailer. And the professor who was acting as, I guess, kind of like the publisher in that sense, was like, oh no, you can't do that. It has to be like professional. It has to be like professional and clean and like, you know, Which I did, I made all those things. And homie made me change it to like a way more boring and just average and just mid ad for the game. I think that was to his detriment. I think the trailer was cooler when it was like weird and like, bro, what the heck? It had so much personality and character. It was like overflowing with it. It was like overwhelming. It was crazy. It was cool. And so I think that is maybe what I'm trying to like hang on to or to learn or obtain, is this like character. Like it's almost like a reflection of yourself in a way. Making video games is the same as having a VTuber model. Crazy Neko theory. It's an expression of yourself. It kind of is though, like if you think about it. Because again, I think like what's the point of making a game? Like when I think of like the kind of game, I'm sorry for going off on this. I don't mean to like be diminishing your point. I'm just like explaining my own like reasonings. But like it's totally reasonable and I totally understand the reasons for why that would happen. Like if you were to make a game and you did those things, I wouldn't like be like, no, that's bad. I'll be like, sick, you made a game, like that's epic. Yeah, I think of like the kind of game where you make everything yourself and like all the assets are handmade versus the kind of game where all the assets are like, you know, either open source and free or like AI generated or things like that. I think I want the game where everything is made by hand. That like is so much more appealing to me for some reason. And it may just be like, you know, like gambler's fallacy or some similar like you take this action, but it doesn't make sense that you take the action thing. It's like a irrationality. Yeah, so I think that's my reasoning for trying to do things myself. The other reason, this is not a small reason. Yeah, this is something I got from Chris Delion, one of his videos, is when you're making a game, you come up with the ideas and you implement the things, and there's a process to it. And so by making the game is different than if you had the game made like by some other process, for example. Like if you told somebody else to do it or like hired someone. Yeah, so the thing he said was that when you take an asset from the asset, so like let's say you're using like a sprite pack or something, right? And you make a game around that. Your game is gonna be, I mean, I guess visually similar / identical, not identical, visually similar to other games that use that same asset pack. It's like, yeah, of course it will. And the example he said was like, yeah, so let's say you have, say you have like an enemy you're gonna add or a vehicle or something. And in the asset pack, there's a helicopter sprite. You're very likely to make a helicopter-like thing because there's a sprite for it already active. You know what I mean? Whereas if you're making your own sprites, you think, okay, let me design a thing for the game. It's missing an enemy or whatever vehicle or encounter or thing. What can fill that role the best? And you think of something, and that's coming from your brain. That's like your direct like line of thought, stream of consciousness directly into the game's design. And you're going like, you know, what would fit here? What do I want here? What's cool here? What's interesting? And so you make a thing around that. That thing may be a helicopter, but it may be a spaceship, or it may be an airship or something like really epic. I don't even know. It could be a motorcycle with wings that flies. Like, there's so many cool opportunities that you get by just creating from like raw, if you will. That being said, I still have nothing for the laser beam sound, so at the end of the day, the sound effect might be me going woo 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 woo, or how would I do it? Bzz, 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 like that. That might be the entire sound effect. Which again, it like, even that like adds character, in my opinion, like to your game. I think it's just, maybe it's Ludditism. Maybe that is it. I'm trying to think of parallels. I guess for games, it's like hard to see. Oh, so my topic earlier is I was thinking of like, what's your goal in making a game, right? Like, I think it should be pretty clear at this point that I'm not expecting my games to do well, because they never have in the past, and like, I'm not good at marketing things clearly. Like, I don't really have a high expectation of success. But you know, if you're someone who's like, hey, I want to make a living off of making games, totally valid thing to do, by the way. Well, I don't know if it's very good strategy, but it's like, I'm okay with you doing it. I don't know how successful it'll be. I mean, that's, you know, up to you. It's probably easier to do many other things, but you know, you do you, is what I'm saying, right? I'm not against it principally. Yeah, so if you're a person whose goal is, the goal of making the game is to be successful, make a lot of money, have many people play it, then the quickest route of like using assets or even like AI or whatever to make your game like as quick as possible and efficiently, like you don't care if it's good because you can churn out like 9 others, roll the successful game gacha, one of them maybe will be a successful idea, and you will like be more effective that way. You'll have released more games, you'll have like more under your belt, more design experience. Like there's situations where the strategy makes sense. But then again, like if you're making a VTuber model, you could just use AI art. I guess commissioning somebody is the better thing. Or like using a customizable model is maybe a better connection. It's like, yeah, you can. But if you're a VTuber like trying to make money and like, you know, you just cycle through different models and personalities trying to hit the one that resonates with people, like, yeah, that's a good strategy. You're doing it to be like more of an extension of yourself, you know, it's like you're this character and you're becoming this person, or this person is becoming you, or you're both becoming the one, you know, the same one. Then having something more personal, even if imperfect, is potentially preferable. So yeah, as always, I think it's easy to reduce these ideas to like good or bad, when the reality, of course, is much more gray than that. I'm gonna pick up this metal salvage. Nobody can stop me. Reaper Leviathan.